Hey guys, this is Sapphire Yogaman with Teen Wolf, episode 6 review of the third season. It's titled Motel California. And this episode kind of took on like I saw the Twitter, a lot of them were referencing the movie The Shining. If you don't know what The Shining is, it's a classic horror film. It stars Jack Nicholson. It's like when they're in like a hotel and it's like during a blizzard. It's like a really, really good film. So the episode starts off with a man in a pickup truck. He pulls into the Motel Glen Capri in the fictitious town of Ferryville, California. The name of the same town name is used in the movie Psycho. The date is March 5th, 1977. So we're in the 70s. So he exits the truck, and we can see a large wound on his leg while his pants and hands are covered in blood. On the room key, the hotel address is given at P.O. Box 217, Fairvale, California 92281. In the real world, this zip code does not exist in the United States. It is, however, the postal code for Ursulin Amsberg-Zolbach in Germany. That is, I'm not even gonna, oh god, that was hard. In room 217, he pulls up his shirt and examines a large alpha bite on his torso. He is wearing the argent necklace last seen in season 1, so he might be an argent. Yes, because he had a necklace. He sees the full moon out in his window, and he then takes a sawed-off shotgun and places it under his chin and says a few words in French as his eyes begin to glow a bright yellow, and he then pulls the trigger. He then pretty much shot his brains out. So actually, he has to be an argent because I'm pretty sure only a person who knows a werewolf will actually shoot themselves in the head, to prevent themselves from turning into a were. Just saying. So on the pool of blood, we see his driver's license is a Massachusetts driver's license. His name is listed as Argent Alexander. Present day Beacon County School. They pull up to the parking lot as a member of the cross country team, Allison and Lydia disembark. Scott comments on the quality of the motel, saying he's seen worse, and Styles challenges this, asking where had they been. The coach explained that the cross-country meetup to which they have been traveling has been postponed until the following day, and the motel was the only one that had enough vacant rooms and the least judgment when it comes to accepting a bunch of degenerates. The children all have to pair up and stay in a room, and the coach don't pretty much warns them against sexual perversions, calls them little deviants. I'm like, you have kids at a hotel room, and you telling them to pair up. I'm pretty sure if they want to, they're just gonna wait till you fall asleep and sneak into each other's room and have sex. I'm pretty sure they could probably gonna do it. I'm just saying. These are teenagers, and it's not like some of them probably haven't even had sex before. I'm just saying. I'm pretty sure they're gonna make it happen when they can. Just saying. And then it doesn't help too, because saying girls don't be in the boys room. But then you got homosexuality too. So what if the two girls are lesbians or two guys are gay? Just saying. They're still gonna have sex either way, straight or gay. They're still gonna have sex. Just saying. You really can't prevent it. Just saying. In the room, Scott and Styles discuss their top 9, 10, but Styles ends up counting Derek twice, of their suspects in the recent human sacrifice murders, but only explains 4. Styles list includes Adrian Harris. Just because he's missing doesn't mean he's dead, but we all know he is. Cora, no one knows anything about her except that she's Derek's sister. Dr. Dean, I really don't like the whole Obi-Wan thing he's got going on. It freaks me out. Scott doesn't understand what he means by Obi-Wan because he's never seen Star Wars. It's a Star Wars reference. If you guys have not seen Star Wars, Obi-Wan Kenobi is, how would I say this? A Jedi Master. He's Anakin Skywalker's master. Anakin Skywalker becomes Darth Vader, has 2 children, Leia and Luke. Obi-Wan ends up teaching Luke, and then he dies along with Yoda, blah, blah, blah. You gotta watch the whole season franchise thing, but it's a long story. Anyway, back to Teen Wolf. Leader Martin, that's another one. She was totally controlled by Peter and has no idea. So Scott says it might be someone else at school and brings up Matt, who is an economy master and responsible for 7 deaths in season 2, saying that back then they didn't know he was killing people. Styles calls and points out correctly that he said Matt was responsible long before they actually learned the truth. Back at his office, Beacon Hills, Jennifer Blake struggles to help Derek inside. So then we have Chris Argent, who goes to abandoned mall and pretty much starts to piece together the clues of what happened there. All he does is look at that footprint, kind of visualizes in his mind of what happened. Kind of like pointing out the bad in his mind. It's kind of pretty cool. We then have Styles going for a snack and finds Boyd standing in the machine. Um, Styles is like just talking, and Boyd is just like quiet, and he pushes button 201 when the machine mechanism stalls and doesn't drop a snack, which was peanut butter crackers. Styles offers to help, but Boyd just simply puts his fist through the glass of the machine, breaks and takes what he wants out of the. Styles is like, well, okay, and Styles steals a handful of snacks and heads back up to the room. Me, if that was me, if I just saw Wolf breaking my machine, I would grab me a bag and grab almost every snack about the, cause you get hungry. I'm just saying, you get hungry, and it doesn't look like there's a freaking fast food or whatever for miles, so. Just saying, could have, got more than probably. I think he took like 3 of them. I would have got probably all of them. Just saying, it's gonna be a while. It's gonna be a while. We didn't have Alice in the shower, and Lydia has gone to get some new towels because she said they smell like smoke. Scott comes into the room and he startles her, appearing to be in a daze. He starts walking toward her, saying they should be closer friends and perhaps fit the relationship. But he kind of, kind of suggests, the whole friends with benefits thing. I'm like, really, Scott? Really? Really? But he's in a daze, so he really doesn't know what he's doing. So he grabs a hand and he suddenly snaps out of the daze and quickly exits because he don't remember how he got here. You know. So Lydia notices a series of numbers when she goes asks the motel clerk for some new towels, and she says it's supposed to be smoke-free with nicotine, but the clerk shows that she has a tracheotomy in her throat, so while it's not as common as in portrayed in popular media, such a device is often presented as a visual shortcut to show what a person is, show that a person is a heavy smoker and suffered throat cancer or some sort of ailment as a side effect. So we little you'll notice some numbers on the back of the wall 198. So she asked the clerk, okay, why is why what's with the number? The clerk explains that obviously that we're not a really popular motel, but we are popular for one thing. That the 40-year motel since the day is open has the highest number of suicides in all of California, and they're currently up to 198 and counting. In the room, Isaac and Boyd are sharing. Isaac flips through the channels of static on the TV, and the channel number goes up from 199 to 200 to 201. We didn't have Chris Argent is still at the Better Mall. He's on the phone with Allison. Offers, hey, I'm coming to get you. Allison's when she mentions the name of the motel, he says it's not familiar and he wants to come and get her, but she says she's fine. So once they hang up, he sees evidence of her involvement in a battle at the mall. I mean, you're pretty sure he's gonna recognize, with arrows and stuff, because that's what your daughter primarily weapon is. So we then go back to Derek's apartment. We have Jennifer removing the tatters of Derek's shirt, and it's like, whoa, what kind of injuries are this, But she still ends up but she still manages to flirt, saying her gasp of astonishment is at the sight of his bare chest. I mean, who wouldn't? I mean, that dude is sexy. Anyway, he says you would be for your unbelievable physique if it weren't for the fact that you're bleeding black blood. Derek passes out and she begs him not to die. She puts his ear to his chest to listen for a heartbeat. Once she hears it, she sighs with relief. Back at the motel, Lydia works out the math on the motel's suicide numbers. Over 40 years, it breaks down to an average of 4.95 suicides per year, which she explains to Allison is unexpected. She still finds it weird that the motel likes the number enough to post it in their office. Lydia then lays out the methods of suicide: hanging, throat cutting, pill popping, both barrels of a shotgun in the mouth. Lydia then hears the voices of a couple coming through the air vent. The male voice asks the female which one she wants. She replies, the smaller one, I guess. He says smaller is better because there's less kick. So pretty much what's going on with Lydia, she's hearing literally the voices of people who have committed suicide in this hotel. For me, that would be creepy as hell. So she ends up hearing a couple again. She tries to get closer. The male voice says, I'll chamber the round. The female then wants to know how they're going to proceed, wondering if they'll go after the count of 3 or on 3. She often decides they'll go 1, 2, then pull the trigger. They declare their love for another, and the male begins to count down, and a gunshot follows the count of 2. Throughout this exchange, the air is flowing through the vent as evidenced by a silver streamer blowing outward. After the gunshot, the stream falls back against the vent as the airflow is cut off. Allison doesn't hear the voice, but Lydia is convinced and heads to the next room. Inside room 2117, They see construction equipment but no dead couple. In the grain of the wood paneling, Lydia notices what appears to be screaming faces staring back at her. Boyd is getting some ice from the large machine outside in the parking lot. While he's filling his bucket, he hears a girl's voice calling his name. The voice says, "Don't leave me," and you weren't supposed to leave me. Why did you leave me? And Boyd says the name um, Alicia. He then digs down, uncovering the face of a young girl buried in ice. She opens her eyes, and Boyd drops the bucket and backs away. Me, I will leave. I will go to my clothes and be like, okay, you know what? I'm starting to see stuff. It is time to go. It is time to go. I'm sorry. It is time to go. Seeing voices, people killing themselves, seeing dead bodies. We need to go. We cannot stay in this hotel. I would rather sleep on a bus. Um, Lydia wants to leave, but Allison is like, there's no danger here because this desperate suicide is not murder. It's not like this place is haunted, right? I'm like, really, Allison? Really? You fight werewolves? You done seen a kind of money? You don't believe there's ghosts going on? Really, Allison? Like, really? It's like how people that see supernatural on a daily basis just pass up the idea of a poltergeist. It's like, what is wrong with you? Really? You can believe in werewolves, but not ghosts. It's like this confounds me. So Isaac, we go to Isaac, who is lying on the bed with his eyes closed when he starts to hear noises like tools and chains. He looks to the ceiling fan, which is rattling as it spins above, but then startled to hear his father's voice asking for a wrench. The voice continues with what the hell? Is he just constantly hearing, his daddy's voices, calling him dumbasses, talking about what's the difference between 7 and 9, stuff like this. And then he hears whispering and peeks out to find himself in the freezer in the basement of his whole house, and he screams as the lid slams down, trapping him inside. I feel so bad for Isaac. I'm like, poor baby. Back in the motel office, the numbers on the wall have changed from 198 we saw on Lydia's earlier visit to 201 as she and Allison re-entered. The sign says the clerk is gone until 6 a.m., leaving them with no answers about the suicide couple she heard. They wonder about the increase in the death toll and think the number might mean more deaths are about to happen. In Scott's room, the phone rings. He answers the call and hears his mother's voice. She seems upset and apologizes, saying he just came in the house and I tried to stop him. So he looks outside and he sees Deucalion holding his mother by the throat. Deucalion says Derek is dead and Scott is now the alpha and he's coming for everyone he loves. He then rips Melissa McCall's throat with his claws and she falls to the pavement. Styles enters and Scott looks away from the parking lot for a moment. When he sees there's nothing there, is all hallucination. But then Styles gets a text from Lydia on his Nokia Lumia that says, "Need to talk to you. Need to talk to you." According to the phone, it is 12:21. We didn't have Danny, Ethan, or sharing a room. So obviously, these two are having sex. As I said before, whether they're straight or gay, like, these kids are gonna have sex. Come on, they're teenagers. It's raging hormones. Anyway, so Ethan opens Danny's shirt and begins to kiss his chest just below the pectoral muscle, and he realizes there's a scar. So he asks Ethan about it, like, the scars. It says scars are from surgery he had to correct mishap in cartilage when he was born. They had to insert a bar when he was 14 to support his sternum for 2 years, so that his heart and lungs wouldn't be crushed. Ethan says, "Well, what if there was a way you could make them disappear?" He's hinting at the effects of an alpha bite without saying it. Danny wants to keep his scars. He says they make him feel like a survivor, to which Ethan replies, "I really hope you are." So they get back into, So, as Ethan suddenly arches back, ripples appear in the skin around his spine, similar to the effect of what we saw when the twins merged together. He freaks out and runs to the bathroom. Looking in the mirror, he sees a hand and a face begin to push out from his skin of his stomach. I'm like, what? He returns to Danny, throws on his clothes, and like gets out the room. Like, that is really a terrible way. That just ruined the mood. I'm like, dang, you was about to get you some. We then have Styles and Addison discussing how weird the werewolves are pretty much acting. Like, something is wrong. I haven't seen them act, all of them acting crazy because everybody else is normal, but these wolves are acting cuckoo. So Lydia still wants to leave, but nobody wants to listen to Lydia. She's trying to tell y'all something is not right about this. We need to go. Alice says, "No, we're not gonna go." You stupid broad. You stupid bitch. Like, really, stuff is going on. These wolves are acting weird, and I'm hearing freaking people killing themselves. This is not normal. So she grabs the Bible out of the desk drawer and says, if they don't leave, someone needs to do an exorcism before the wolves go crazy. I know, right? And kill all of them because they're still wolves. We don't need crazy werewolves, like hallucinating actually to kill somebody. We don't need that. Styles wondered if they were drawn to the motel on purpose, noting that the number in the office went up by 3. He said that the Duroc may be after the werewolves as is the next 3 victims. Noticing something in the pages of the Bible, Styles texted from Lydia. They found clippings describing all the suicides that took place in the room in which they are standing. The headlines include 28-year-old man hangs himself at the infamous Glen Grand Prix, and modern day Romeo and Juliet suicides continued at the Glen Capri Motel, and local karate instructor commits Harari Kiri at the Glen Capri. They speculate there might be similar clippings tucked away in Bibles in all other rooms. Lydia wants to investigate the suicide couple she heard into room 217. They found the door locked and they hear pretty much a skill saw running aside. They bust into the room to find Ethan holding himself, preparing to pretty much slice his torso. Sal rushes forward and begins to wrestle control of the saw from the alpha. Lydia notices the power cord and pulls it out. Sal gets away from it, falls to the floor, and Sal falls after, his face stopping just centimeters from the spinning blade. I'm like, whoo, that was a close one, because your face would have been gone. Ethan then extends his claws and moves to rip it open his torso. So obviously he's going to rip this thing out whether he has a saw in his hands. So Styles and Addison each grab an arm and try to stop him. He tumbles into a space heater and burns his hand. The pain snaps him out of his daze and he seems to have no memory of what happened. He quickly leaves the room. Back at Derek's loft, he is trying to get out of bed, but his injuries are too severe. He tells Jennifer that he must find the other because they think he is dead. She points out that many characters in literature use false deaths to their advantage. She mentions Les Mis by Victor Hugo, A Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens, and Romeo and Juliet by William Shakespeare. She should have not have referenced Romeo and Juliet. I haven't read the other two, but Juliet pretends which one is it? Romeo. One of them pretends they're dead. I can't remember if it's Romeo or Juliet, but one of them, drank something to pretend they're dead, but then it really doesn't help to their advantage because the person, the lover came back, thought the person was dead and kills himself, and then that person kills himself. So that's really not a good. I would not use Romeo and Juliet as a good reference. Just saying, the death does not work to neither advantage in that book. They both die. They both die in the end. It doesn't work. So she blushes when she mentions the last one, since it's a tourist story to lovers that she is still managing to flirt with the nearly dead man before. Do not use it as a reference ever. Ethan refuses to talk to Styles, Lydia, and Allison about his suicide attempt. He said he doesn't know how he got there or what he was doing. Styles points out that he should be more helpful since they just saved his life. He responds that they probably shouldn't have. Allison goes off to find Scott. Styles reluctantly brings up his theory that Lydia may be connected to all the crazy since it's very similar to the time she poisoned everybody at her birthday party with wolfsbane. Boyd sits on the bedside. The radio turns itself on with a burst of static. The clock reads 12:46. He quickly switches it off, and in 2 seconds it switches back on with more static and a man's voice asking questions of a child. The man asks, "You remember what time it is when you last saw her?" To which the child responds, "I don't know. I can't remember." The man pushes on, saying, "Sometimes it helps to put yourself right back in the moment." He then says, "Imagine you are seeing Alicia skating on the ice rink, plenty of other people around, and then what?" The boy is meek in response, and then she was just gone. Boy turns off the radio again, but with a couple of seconds it's back on. The boy voice on the radio in a pleading tone says, "I told you I was watching her. I didn't want to skate anymore. I was just tired, and I swear I was watching her." The man voice in a comforting tone continued, "It's alright, we're just trying to piece together what happened." Boy grabs the radio off the nightstand, pulling the cord out of the wall at the same time. As he stares at the now powerless radio, it suddenly lights up again, and the voices continue with the boy asking, "Is she dead? And is it my fault? And is she dead again?" That is so sad. Boy ends up repeating the words, "Is she dead? And it's my fault." And he throws the radio against the wall, breaking it. The radio lights up again. This time, Boy walks out the room, crossing the radio with his foot on the way out. You unplugged it. You threw it against the wall, and it's still working. You need to leave the hotel, people. You need to leave the hotel. It's some weird shit going on. You need to leave. Just leave. Back at the loft, Derek is feeling a little bit better. Jennifer says Jennifer shouldn't be anywhere near him because everyone around him gets hurt. She says she's been hurt before and has a feeling about him. She begins to kiss him hesitantly at first, then with more passion, and then we see Boyd goes up to Boyd entering the motel office and notices the safe. Now, my thing is, as much as I would love to see Derek all sexiness, he's injured, and she's just like, screw these injuries, we're gonna get some. I'm like, really, really? I heard of sexual but healing, but Jesus. So we go back to Addison arriving at Scott's room. He's not there. We have Styles apologizing for suspecting Lydia is responsible for the crazy. Lydia then hears a baby crying and a mother yelling at it. She believes it's coming from a large drainage grate in the middle of the parking lot. She kneels to get closer and is pretty much she's hearing a mother preparing to drown her baby. Now, I know that sometimes parents, mom, you get frustrated. The baby's crying, especially if you're new to it. You're like, oh my God, just shut up, shut up, shut up. But there's no reason to drown your baby. There's no reason to drown a baby or shake the baby. There's no reason. Back in Boyd's room, the bathtub is full of water, and he shuts it off. And he's holding the safe, and he lies in it. And pretty much with the safe for the safe, he puts the safe on the chest, so he's pretty much trying to drown himself. Lydia and Styles are in the bath. They try to get the safe off of him. They can't because it's heavy as hell. So then they come up with the idea, well, what snapped, Ethan out of it, and they realized it was like heat and stuff. So they're like, oh, okay, we'll go get some, we need something to get snap him out of it. So they decide to get flares, the road flares. So while he's gone, Lydia hears something under the bed and pulling up the cover. She sees Isaac is hiding under there. He drives away from the light back into the shadow. Stout returns to the flare. They light it and burn Boyd, who is throws off the safe and rises from the water. He then uses the flare and and goes to Isaac and burns him too. So Boyd and Isaac are now snapped out of that whole hallucination. They still need to find Scott. They all go Lydia, Styles, and Allison go down to the parking lot to find Scott dripping with gasoline and holding another lit road flare as a pool of fuel spreads over the pavement. Scott says there's no hope, and he says there's no hope for him or for Derek. I'm like, God, he is about to burn himself. Jesus. Then Derek is having sex with Jennifer. And as he's having sex, his wounds are literally healing. I'm like, they played the wrong song during the scene. They need to be playing in Marvin Gaye's Sexual Healing, because that was some sexual healing right there. Because his wounds were literally healing people. I mean, that was some real sexual healing. Allison says Derek wasn't Scott's fault, but he says no matter what he does, people end up getting hurt and dying, and he thinks killing himself might be the best thing he could do for everyone else. I'm like, no, Scott, it's not the best thing for you to do, because your fans would be upset. Your fans wouldn't be able to handle this. They wouldn't be able to handle it. Scott mourns for the loss of his life before the bite, saying it was better when he was no one special, not good at lacrosse, not popular, not special. And he said it would be better being no one again or no one at all. Styles steps forward. Now, this scene right here, I'm just saying, this was like, oh my goodness. I'm like, I love Styles. I love him. Styles steps forward. Tears are streaming down his face as he explains that Scott is someone, his best friend and his brother. And he steps into the pool of gasoline, saying that if Scott is going to kill himself, Styles is gonna go with him. I'm like, oh my God, that is a true friend right there. That is a true friend. Not many people will go to their friend who's about to pretty much burn themselves alive. Nope, I don't mean people that would do that, but Styles, oh my goodness, that's a true friend right there. If you're gonna go, I'm gonna go with you too. I'm like, oh, that's a friend right there. That is a friend. That is a friend. That scene was good. That was a good scene right there. That was a beautiful scene right there. So as he hugs Scott, Styles grabs the flare and flings it away. It lands on a dry piece of pavement, but as Scott and Styles embrace, the flare begins to roll uphill. I'm like, see? See? These freaking ghosts, these poltergeists. Lydia sees what's happening and throws herself at Scott and Styles, pushing them out of harm's way. So as the fuel explodes, Lydia sees a figure cloaked with a deformed face in the flames. So the next morning, Coach Spence finds Boyd, Isaac, Lydia, Allison, Styles, and Scott sleeping on the bus. He's like, he tells them the meeting has been canceled, and Ethan thanks Scott for saving his life, and Styles like, actually, it was me that saved your life, and tells them Derek is alive. He also warns that the death of Enos, for which Ethan blames Derek, will result in one of two things. Derek will be forced to join the Alpha Pack, which will mean killing his betas, or Kylie will hunt him down and kill him. See, I knew something was going to become Kylie and him. Nydia notices a purple stain on Flint's stock shirt where the coach whistle rests. She asks to see and discovers it's filled with wolf's bane powder. This means each time he blew the whistle on the bus, everyone got a dose of wolfsbane, which might explain how the Doctorate caused the hallucinations. Styles throws it out the window and the bus drives away. Chris Argent opens the door to room A151. An old man sitting in a wheelchair reaches down with shaking hands to turn the face the chair face the visitor. It's Gerard, Grandpa. Black ooze still leaks from his nose and down his mouth and down his chest. My sister was like, ugh, so gross. Chris relays the story of Alexander Argent's final trip to the Motel Glen Capri. He wants to know the name of the alpha that built him. Come to find out, the alpha that built him was Duke Halion. I'm like, what? So that's pretty much all for this episode of Teen Wolf. It was a pretty good episode. I kind of like the whole horror, like sort of classic horror movie film. So I really did like that aspect of it. Motel California, it was a really good episode. So I will see you guys next time on the next episode of Teen Wolf, or technically review. I don't know why I keep saying episode like I'm actually watching it right now. But I will definitely see you guys for my next review. This again was Teen Wolf season 3, episode 6, titled Motel California. I will see you guys next time. Leave your comments below what you thought about the episode. What was your favorite scene? What you didn't like about it, and stuff like that. So, bye.